Could this be the best release ever from Bardstown Bourbon Company? Let's find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. Wow, I could not be more excited to dive into this bottle and this review with you guys today. This is Bardstown Bourbon Company's Cathedral French Oak Barrel Finish. So Bardstown, by far and away one of my favorite distilleries. The quality they're putting out with their own distillate, even at like 6 years old, is awesome. The blends they do with the Discovery series tend to be very, very good, if not exceptional. And this bottle, though, seems to be maybe the most special thing they've ever done. Let's take a look at some of the stats and what went into making this unique whiskey. So first of all, Cathedral French Oak. Why is it called that? Well, it was finished in French oak barrels for 14 months, and those French oak barrels were crafted from wood that was over 300 years old, planted back when Louis XIV was King of France. Those same trees were used to basically help restore the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris after the fire in 2019. So that's where we start with sort of the branding and experience here. Proof point, it's 110.1 proof. It also comes in these smaller bottles of 375 milliliters, and the price point is $99.99. So you might be thinking, that sounds like a little bit much. I mean, that's $200 for the full whiskey if you were able to get a 750 milliliter bottle. That's when we take a look at the blend here, what's actually in this bottle. And that's where it gets a little special with some pretty unique age here. So all of these are Kentucky bourbons. First, we have a 45% 14-year-old, 75, 13, 12. 37.5% of the blend is a 18-year-old, 17, 18, 8. 10% is an 11-year-old, 78, 13, 9. 5% is a 9-year-old, 75, 13, 12. 2.5% is a 17-year-old, 78, 10, 12. So when you look at those mash bills, you may recognize maybe some Heaven Hill, maybe some Jim Beam, maybe some Wild Turkey. So well-aged stock from some very historic and well-known distilleries, all put into this blend and then put into those special French oak barrels for over 14 months. That all means you get this, which is one of the darker whiskeys I've ever seen. Good promising sign there. But the question is, how good is it really? So let's dive in on the nose, palate, and finish and evaluate this Cathedral French Oak Barrel Finish. This bottle in particular, available, as far as I know, only at the distillery and the Louisville gift shop that they have downtown. I was actually able to get it the day after it released. They only had 24 bottles at that Louisville gift shop though, so I'm expecting this one to be pretty limited in quantity. Okay, let's go in on the nose. Oh man. A gorgeous oakiness to it. Deep stewed cherries. Almost blackberry, raspberry-esque too. So lots of red fruit. Spicy, but in the best way. Like no ethanol sting here, but spice. Like a French oak barrel spice. Simmering cinnamon maybe, something along those lines. Undergirding a lot of it is this airy vanilla custard tone. Definitely vanilla. And there's even a touch of something savory, just coming along with some of that barrel characteristic. But I think what's strongest here is that vanilla and French oak spice and the oak and the cherry. It's really, really nice on the nose. It's really good. All right, let's dive in. I will say it's pretty dense, and it's not coming out of the glass like an aggressive whiskey at all. Some barrel strength whiskey of the year kind of contenders can tend to do that. This one I think you got to spend a little more time with and dig into, but it's very, very nice. All right, let's go on the palate. Cheers. Oh man. Wow. That's delicious. Really, really good and lasting forever here. Sorry, I'm just still processing. The oak is all over this thing, but I don't think it's too much. Sometimes when you get those 17, 18-year-old bourbons, it can be over oaked, and it doesn't feel that way at all. The French oak, I think, is what really adds this layer of strong vanilla. It's like toasted oak, almondy, maybe borderline marshmallowy with that toasted oak, but more rich than that. More, not as processed as that, just richer and more powerful. So the oak is gorgeous. The cherry is all over this thing as well. That toasted oak, I think, and the almond, and it comes along with some of that vanilla custard. I think that's definitely here. Spicy. I think the spice helps it linger for a while too. And that comes with the French oak. Wow. Really good blend. Very balanced and a long finish. Let's go in on this second sip now. Since it's on my palate, I'll be able to pick out some more flavors. Cheers. Yep, this is mature whiskey, that's for sure. More leather on that sip for me, especially toward the back end. All that other stuff kind of stayed the same. Big stewed cherry, blackberry, dark fruits, vanilla custard, and that French oak, toasted oak experience. Spice, baking spice, cinnamon for sure. Cinnamon's sticking around for a while for me on this. Added in a little layer of like a citrus, orange citrus coming through. So that's even just delightful to add in there, to sprinkle a little citrus in there, why don't you? But then more leather and spice to stick with you. It doesn't go too astringent though, or bitter on the back end, because I think the vanilla custard toasted oak thing is keeping it sweet enough. Yeah, this is really good stuff. All right, I want to go in for a third sip now. Really focus on that finish, and then we'll talk about the whiskey experience overall. Cheers. Oh gosh, it smells so good. All right. Yeah. Okay, complexity. This is a complex one. This is a thinker of a whiskey. This is a special blend that's kind of showing off its different layers. I feel like I even got a little bit more of like a floral honey thing going on that sip. As I let it linger, first of all, it's a long finish. No doubt about it. I mean, it sticks around for 2 minutes plus of just continues to sort of evolve in your mouth and then on your palate after you experience it. That's crazy. It's really, really good. I love this almondy toasted oak experience that I'm getting. The oak is gorgeous. I think the word that's coming to mind the most for this whiskey is just gorgeous, which is fitting for something that's trying to evoke Notre Dame and one of the most beautiful cathedrals on the planet. So that's cool that it can kind of pull that off. It's really, really delicious. It's kind of the right proof point to give you all the flavor you need, but not overwhelm your palate. The cinnamon spice that sticks around, that baking spice from the French oak barrels, I feel like is really sticking around. And then you get these sweet, beautiful notes that we all love from bourbon. We got the cherry, we got the oak, sweet oak, toasted oak, we got the vanilla, all there in spades. This is delicious. This is special. This is a very well-made blend. I feel like some of that younger whiskey, it's got a 9-year and 11-year, so not like youthful, but I do think it's helping balance out that blend and keeping that 17, 18, even the 14 from being too old. Also adds complexity to it. Yeah, I know I'm hyping this up, but for $100, I wish I had the full bottle, because I'd pay $200 for a full bottle of this in a heartbeat. This is really, really good. I am putting this in my mind in top 5 whiskeys I've ever tasted category, like right away. I'm gonna have to compare it to some of my previous Whiskey of the Year winners and see how it does. It will 100% be going in my Whiskey of the Year bracket for 2025. Definitely deserves a place in there. Yeah, I really wish I had another one of these. Delicious stuff. Bardstown just continues to impress the heck out of me. I want to compare this, maybe the next video I do is comparing this to Discovery Series. I've got the 8, the 11, and the 12. And I'd love to compare this to all 3 of those and see what comes out on top. The 12, Discovery Series 12 is really, really good. It relies a lot on that 14-year-old wild turkey, which I'm suspecting there's a little bit of that in here, or there's a good amount of that in here. But yeah, this is delicious stuff. I feel like this one's hard for me to hype up this much because I know it's going to be a lot more limited than some of Bardstown's other stuff. But if you do get a chance to grab one of these, I think it's well worth the money, and I think you will enjoy your experience quite a bit. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Let me know in the comments below. Have you been interested in this release from Bardstown? Have you heard the rumors? You know, what are your thoughts on it? If you have been able to grab it and crack it open and taste it, what did you think? While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to The Bourbon Hutch, trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and I hope you'll help us reach that goal. Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.